Hey guys, and welcome back to Sailing with the Jameses. We're Sam, myself Kate, and our 4-year-old daughter Charlie. For the past 4 years, we've been living full-time on a sailboat, sailing, traveling, and exploring some pretty incredible places. But now we're stepping into a brand new chapter. We're on the hunt for our next boat, a long-range expedition trawler. If you're new here, we're an Aussie family who swapped normal life for life at sea, and we've been living aboard full-time for nearly 4 years now. And as much as we love sailing, we're ready for something different, something with serious range, comfort, and capability. Last year we came extremely close to buying a 70-foot ex-commercial prawn trawler over in Western Australia. We had big plans to convert her into our next liveaboard vessel, but we hit a huge roadblock with insurance. So now we're back on the hunt. We've recently flown down to Tasmania, and last week we toured a 77-foot steel Aft Wheelhouse vessel. And this week we're stepping aboard another potential contender, right here in Tassie. So grab a coffee, hop in and buckle up, and come with us as we tour what could be our next boat. So Charlie, where are we headed this morning?
To Macca's.
What? We're headed to see another boat this morning. Hey! So this morning we're gonna go see another boat.
Banner 60 Shabana.
Woohoo! So good morning guys, happy Saturday.
Good morning.
So there's something that we haven't told you. We are actually seeing more than one boat in Tassie, and this morning we are on our way to see boat number 2.
So essentially, once we were down here, we just looked at anything that was similar to the other boat for our comparative analysis. You know, what's around, and for our evaluation and fair valuation of what the boat should be worth. And so we're off now to have a look at something that's very similar, just to see condition-wise and what's going for that price bracket.
Yeah, same, but different.
Mm-hmm.
So the one we saw yesterday is a cray boat charter boat.
Yes.
Yeah, and the one we're seeing today, still in survey, is longliner.
That's right. It was built originally in charter, and it had charter fishing, and then a guy who's a shark. Yeah, he does long line but for sharks. So it's a gummy shark boat, really. He has it.
Yeah. So both are very similar. They're both steelies. They're both in survey. They're both working boats, and they're very same, but very different. So we're on our way now. We're driving to the eastern coast of Tasmania. The eastern coast of Tasmania.
Yep.
And from our accommodation where we are in Launceston, it's about a 2.5-hour drive.
Yes.
So it's pretty neat. Like, we are on one quarter of the island, and we're driving to the other quarter, and we've landed in one quarter, the Hobart.
Yep.
So essentially we've seen, I don't know, quite so far. Once we've seen a little bit of Tassie.
We've been slicing through on the roads. I wouldn't say we've fully explored it the way I would like to. But yeah, definitely. And this is an important part of our boat buying process, is, finding a fair value for a boat, because you know, in this day and age, the asking prices of a lot of the boats, in my opinion, can tend to be slightly ambitious. Sometimes they're fair, sometimes they're ambitious. So we just got to confirm,
what we're looking at and what what's out there. And thankfully, down here there's a lot of commercial boats that fit our build. Not a lot, but there's a few. Like we're thankful we're able to look at a couple.
No, totally. And the thing is, the reason we have to look so much is because we don't. There's no value for us in the survey. We don't want it to have a survey. We don't care if it has a survey or not. And so that's why we have to look at boats that are in survey, just to attribute, you know, although it has no value to us, it does have value to the seller. So therefore, you know, we do have to pay a little bit extra for it if that's all that's available at the time. And we just need to see what that value is, and that's the key point.
Yeah.
We could value the boat out of survey, and out of survey they are worth less, in my opinion.
Yeah. So when we looked at the trawler in WA, over in Western Australia, we talked about the boats being in survey and coming out of survey. We actually got a lot of questions from you guys saying, what does that mean? So essentially what we're talking about right now is when a boat is in survey, it means that it meets certain commercial standards that a boat needs to have to take passengers, to run commercially, and it needs to keep upkeep of those safety measures and standards, and you always have to keep them up to date, and you keep getting them. And so it's run by an overseeing body called AMSA, Australian Maritime Safety Authority.
So the Australian Maritime Safety Authority only dictate prerequisites, and then you go to third parties to fulfill it. Surveyors, you know, fire technicians, all those, and they give you individual certificates for the different parts.
Yeah, so life rafts and safety gear and fire stuff, and like having, like the one we saw yesterday, it has space for food pantry one side and chemicals another. Like you can't have your chemicals with your food, like in your pantry.
If you see a private boat, it could be meeting the standard too.
Oh.
The difference is you've got to pay a third party to do it all the time. And that's where the extra value comes, because it costs so much more to do it. If you were maintaining your own vessel, you could keep it to an even higher standard by far. But you wouldn't be paying someone else to do it all the time, because the costs involved in that are astronomical. And that's where survey comes in. You're paying someone else, a surveyor and fire technicians and other people, to come and check all the stuff for you. And they attribute more value because it costs more. But it has zero value for us, because as soon as we buy it, we're not paying all these people to check it. We'll check it ourselves.
Yeah.
And we'll spend the money on improvements. It's really quite expensive.
Yeah. Yeah, you got to get hull thickness tests, and I've never done one, but what I've been learning is that it is quite expensive. Some parts to keep updating and stuff.
Surveyors, it's a specialty job, and they charge accordingly. You know, they're a specialty. It's a niche market, and so it's a good job to have, and you earn good money doing it. And the downside is, when you want a surveyor to do something, you pay good money to get them to do it.
Yeah. So the two boats we've looked at, the boat we looked at yesterday and the boat we're going to look at today, both have survey. So that's what it means. And I know that hopefully that covers a lot of questions, because we did get quite a few when we posted about the trawler over in WA, what that means. So hopefully that answers that. We're pretty excited about seeing this one today.
Yeah, it should be really, really good.
We're about a half hour from getting there.
Yeah.
So stay tuned, folks.
Yeah. Yeah, fish farms.
We're arriving at the harbour. Almost here. Alright guys, we arrived at the marina. Can you guess which one in here is the boat? Which one? It's on the other side. Sort of see it.
I think we're going to the next car park, maybe.
Let's go.
And that door.
Alright guys, meet the Iron Maiden. She is a 65-foot aft wheelhouse steel trawler, originally built in 2002 for commercial fishing, and she's currently under survey and operating as a longliner out of Tasmania. She is just under 20 meters and has a beam of 6.3 meters and a draft of 2.9. Right away, you can see that she's got a serious go-anywhere kind of feel to her, strong, capable, and built to work. She is an aft wheelhouse design, which means that the bridge is at the back of the boat, which we really like because it means when you're in heavy seas and the bow is taking a pounding, the aft wheelhouse is a bit more stable and a little bit less affected. When it comes to fluid, this is where she really stands out to us. She carries around 24,000 liters of fuel across 5 tanks and 7,000 liters of fresh water, which is incredible for long-range cruising, and it could give us some serious miles and a serious autonomy offshore. And one of those features that really stands out to us too is that she has a 5-foot extension added to the stern, and it's fully incorporated to the hull, giving us an extra 5,000 liters of either fuel or fresh water, which is incredible for long-range cruising. One feature that really stands out to us, apart from the aft wheelhouse, is that forward on deck she has a mast and she comes with a full set of sails, which we really love for the idea of redundancy. So she has 2 engines and also has sails, and we love the idea of possibly putting the sails up to help take the load off the engines, or if something catastrophic happens and we lose one engine, then we lose the other, so we've lost both engines. We also have sails as redundancy. And for us, that adds a little extra level of safety and versatility for offshore passages. Okay, so welcome to the bridge. So we've got door entry, Morse cables here. Sam really likes that the cables are right next to the door. We've got sink, we've got galley, oven, drawers, aiding area, and then we've got the skipper's chair and wheel and helm station, all the electronics here, and radios up there. And then you've got another door on the port side and another door on the back. So table, fridge, stairs going down, which will go down here. Engine room, 2 bunks. Sam absolutely loves that there's a tool room. And we've got bunks here. So we've got a double bed. And this gives you a better idea. Some more storage. And then behind this door is the tiller flat, I think. But let's show you the engine room. How do you like the engine room?
Yes.
Which one I should go? What's this?
Alright guys, welcome to the engine room. First up, let's talk about the big thing everyone is thinking right now. How good is the headroom? We love the head height here, and the headroom and the walk-around engines are amazing, and personally, we love this engine room. And there's even enough space for a washing machine here. She is running twin Cummins 320 horsepower engines, and she's also got 2 generators on board, a Cummins 50 kVA and a Kubota 11 kVA. So there's plenty of power for everything on board. And one thing that we really like straight up is that she doesn't need the generators to be run 24/7. A lot of working boats are set up to run with gensets running 24/7, and we like that this one only needs the gensets for the fish hole, the freezer, and the 2 40-volt outlets on board. Meaning that we could take the boat out to sea on passage, and the only thing we would lose when not running the gensets would be the 2 40-volt refrigerator. And we really like this because eventually we would like to be fully off-grid, pull up a solar array, and have loads of battery power on board and a 12-volt fridge. So this back here is the aft cabin. We came down the stairs. We've got 2 bunks over here, bottom, top bunk, and there's a porthole right there. Engine room door. You've got the workbench. Then you come this way, and this is like the master cabin. And then you come out again and back over here. Storage, chiller flat. So our thinking, this is the aft cabin, would be eventually, if we were to buy this boat, this would be like the master cabin, and we would just looking at the wall structure to see if they're like integral or if this is this down. Our eventual plans would be probably to make this an entire master suite, big queen bed, toilet and shower down here, because over there is the sullage and there's a toilet on top of that. We're basically just having a look around, looking at the boat and looking at possibilities. All right, we're going forward. And we are headed up to the bow. She has a dual anchor set up, and the anchor locker is really deep on here, so there's no need to manually flake the chain. It can all just pile in. The anchor windlass can be controlled at the wheelhouse, which for us is huge for safety and ease when anchoring. We like both of these features because it means one person is needed to haul the anchor or anchor the boat, making operating the vessel short-handed really easy. She's also running a drum winch anchoring system, which Sam absolutely loves and is about to explain. Yeah. So, hun,
Yeah.
explain what that is and why you like it.
So this is a deep water anchoring system. So essentially what you've got is just a little bit of chain and a heap of rode, and it allows you the ability to anchor in really, really deep water. And you can say, hang on a sec, why don't I choose chain in really deep water? Because chain is heavy, and once you start getting around 60 or 70 meters, you find that your anchor winch starts to struggle a little bit, lifting all of the weight of the combined weight of the chain and the anchor. Where this way, it's a very fast way of retrieving, generally speaking. Haven't used this one yet. Generally quite fast, and you can anchor in, 80, 90 meters of water. So having the ability to do that is fantastic. So this one here, I know from the statistics, has 300 meters of rode on it, or rope.
Wow. Anytime we've seen a vessel, like pictures of anything with that on it, like something like this, Sam has always gotten really excited. And now we are looking at a vessel with one on it, and he's gotten really excited.
Yeah, and it gives us the ability to anchor, in really, really deep water. And, generally speaking, like the type of anchors that are on this boat aren't my favourite, so they're the ones that'll be on this one. So if we do lose it, the dollar value of what's been lost in the deep water is nowhere near as much as if we lose all of our chain and everything. Yeah.
Just behind the anchor locker, access through a hooded hatch on the deck, is the forward cabin, and this space is really generous and really spacious. Right now it's set up with 4 bunks, and it's got a wardrobe, a porthole that brings in some really nice natural light, which makes a huge difference in a space like this. But what we are looking at here is potential. Currently she is a 4-bed cabin for crew, but we see potential. For us, it could be converted into a cabin with a queen bed. Maybe it could be Charlie's room, maybe an office, maybe long-term storage, or keep it as a bunk room, or turn it into a workshop. The possibilities are endless. One of the other things we are looking at here below the floorboards is the hull and the space and availability. Currently, she does not have a bow thruster, and working with crew, I don't think she needs one. But for us, running short-handed with Sam and I, it would be nice to have one. The fact that she doesn't have one doesn't worry us, but what we are looking at and measuring is the availability of space to make sure she has the potential for us to put one in.
And then
You got cofferdams either side there to put stuff in.
I'm gonna do this. How to do it? In there.
Okay, yep.
Yeah, and it's crazy. And I don't know what's this doing.
So I mean, you can see we could do the floor from here to there
Hey
easy.
guys.
Yeah.
There's no height restrictions there. You'd probably have to step up from the other room, just because you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And then you could put doors and have big massive cupboards here
Yeah.
if you wanted.
And a door and a massive cupboard over there. And then a bulkhead that way. Okay.
Okay.
Oh. Oh, closet. Oh. Yep, that's against the wall there.
Yeah. So it's about 3.2, exactly the same.
Okay.
Well, this is about 2.4.
And moving aft of the forward V-berth is the 2-ton bait freezer. This freezer is accessed from deck, and while it is currently used as a bait freezer, we obviously wouldn't use it as such because we will not be longlining. We will be turning the vessel into a private cruising vessel and would not have the use for a freezer. So what we see here is potential. It's a big volume space, and we can picture this being transformed into anything from cabins to deep storage to an office or even a workshop. And with the boom sitting right overhead, we've got a built-in lifting point, making it really easy to hoist big things like bikes, scooters, dive gear, paddle boards, kayaks, or even provisions in and out. And it has a really nice box shape to it. It's a nice size, and what we see is potential. At the back corners of the room, you will see a large void space where Sam is standing next to. And those are what are called cofferdams, which is essentially a void space between fuel and water tanks or compartments. And they're there for safety, helping to prevent leaks or contaminations between the areas. We see a potential closet, a deep potential closet, just wide enough for a big plastic square tubs to sit in. And moving aft again is the fish hold. Again, it's a large open space, and while currently being used exactly as intended, we see potential and we're imagining what it could be. This could easily be converted into another cabin, a bathroom, an office space, or even a combination of all three. And one of the biggest things we see with this boat is the opportunity to rework the internal layout. Right now, these spaces are all accessed from deck, which is very typical of a commercial vessel. But from up in the wheelhouse, we can actually see the potential space where we would create an internal access point down into these holds. This gives us the opportunity to potentially connect these spaces internally meaning all the rooms could potentially be connected inside and there would be no access from deck. We could potentially turn all of these into cabins connected internally with a hallway. Big win there for us. Which would essentially then turn this from a working vessel into a seriously capable, long-range, liveaboard cruiser with 24,000 liters of fuel, 7,000 liters of water, 2 engines, and a sail. A seriously capable expedition vessel. Okay guys, so second look of the Iron Maiden, and we're on our way home. Let's tell you what we thought about her. What do we think about her?
I love this boat. I think it is awesome.
I'm going to tell you guys something. This first time we saw the Iron Maiden, we looked at the boat and I could tell by Sam's face he really liked her. It was when we stepped into the engine room and Sam had this look on his face in the engine room that said, I love this boat. I love this engine room. I think that's what that was.
Full stand up, yeah. Yeah, no, I really like it. The hull is in absolutely immaculate condition. Very little corrosion anywhere. It's just a really, really, really nice boat.
Yeah.
I think it's absolutely fantastic. It's 60 foot, 18 meters, 18.33 meters, and it's got a 5-foot extension on the back, which puts it to 19.8 meters.
Yeah, and the extension is a bit different than all the other extensions we've seen on, like the other boats have like a graded platform. This is actually a part of the hull.
So yeah, it's been sort of molded to the hull. They've made it into an extra 5,000 litre fuel tank, which I don't think we would ever use as a pod on the back. It's a little unusual that way. There's no real facility to get the fuel out of it once you put it in there. And we would have to look a little bit closer at that one. But I just love that it sort of narrows down to a fine entry point, has a beautiful exit point. The boat leaves no real wake, which means it's fairly efficient through the water, which is absolutely fantastic. It's got quite a fine entry point on the bow, but it's 6.3 meters wide, which is wide for the length of the boat as well. So it sort of encompasses everything we want in that regard. It's wide, but it's not too long, but it's not too wide. It's got a fine entry point, should punch fairly well, should handle the weather fairly well. Yeah, and the hull is in absolutely immaculate condition.
So I guess starting at the bow of the boat, she's got 2 different sets of anchoring systems.
Yeah.
One is your normal like anchor and windlass, and so it's got a chain locker. The chain locker, you do not need to flake the chain, and by that, like flaking the chain means when it's coming in, you need to keep pulling it to the side and like let it lay back and forth. You can't just let it come in and pile on top of each other because there's not enough room. So great that we don't need to flake the chain. The second anchoring system,
it's a deep water anchoring system, so you can anchor crazy deep. It has a smaller anchor on it with a bit of chain and then a whole 300 meters of rope or road, and so you can anchor, you know, in around about 100 meters with this system. So you really, really deep water anchoring. One of the main reasons you have a bit of chain and a smaller anchor is just that it doesn't cost as much if you lose it, because there's no way you're diving down to free it. Yeah, but generally speaking, in the deeper waters, it's just sand and mud, unless you're on a rocky outcrop or something like that. It's usually just silted up. Yeah, and so you can kind of anchor in most places.
and these guys currently, it's a working vessel, and currently they go out to the continental shelf and they anchor there when they're working. So they use it, works. Yeah.
And it's on a nice big drum reel. So the disadvantage with that is that we would have to feed it onto the drum reel, just because you wouldn't be able to get the volume of rope on if it all piled up on one side. So there's a little bit more maintenance involved in it. But But geez, it's a fantastic anchoring system. If we go up through Indonesia where there's a lot of deep water anchoring, it would just be amazing. Generally speaking, it's got, I think it was 110 meters of chain, 16 mil chain, which is nice, big, decent chain for the size of the boat, and you'd use that up to potentially about 30 meters, and any deeper than that, you'd want to go to the drum reel. But it just gives you great options.
Yeah. And then coming back from the anchor chain locker, we've got the four-berth V-Berth up there, and it's got its own separate entrance through the hooded hatch there. And then that's wonderful. It was a 6-berth, and they made it into a 4-berth, which is cool. And then behind that we've got freezer.
Yep.
And then after that you've got the fish hold, so they're all bulkhead next to each other. On two sides we've got the fuel tanks in proper cofferdams between
that and the freshwater.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then behind the fish hold is the engine room, and behind that is the master sort of bedroom and 2 bunks. And then on top of that is that wheelhouse, and that wheelhouse is awesome.
Yeah, so it's a great space, offers great vision, good sort of living area. So one of the advantages of that boat is its endless opportunity. One of the disadvantages, it's endless opportunity. So I would be buying myself a full-time job for many years, fitting it out and getting it to what we want. And the amount of money we can spend on it is endless. It's just an awesome toy. It's like getting a really cool 4-wheel drive. It's great, but mate, your lift kit, your winches, there's a lot you can do to it, and there's a lot we can do to this boat too. So it really is a blank canvas, which is great in some sense, but financially and also time-wise, not always the best, because I've got so many things I'd want to do to it. As Kate mentions, you would want to connect up all the fish holes, turn them into accommodation. It's already got welded framework to put the floor on. It's already quite square spaces. It's quite deep, which is really, really good. Yet the vessel itself only draws 2.3, so it's not too deep. It's deep enough that it has very good sea keeping abilities, not too deep that you're really restricted going everywhere. And then it has a really cool fly bridge on top of that aft bridge, which we would want to build in and make into our super bridge.
Like a wheelhouse.
Yeah,
type
make
thing.
it into a comfy wheelhouse, comfy chair, have the big couch that we've talked about before with other vessels, have a big table, turn it into a separate cabin there as well with a spare bed, potentially toilet maybe, or maybe not. We're not really sure, depending on how the space goes. And we also would probably do a Portuguese bridge around the outside. So when we see cool stuff, you can go outside, and it just gives you the feeling of you're closer to nature rather than looking through windows and everything.
Yeah. On some of the boats we've worked at, all the bridges are up higher, and we always used to see really cool stuff like sea snakes and lots of dolphins and turtles, just stuff on the surface. And then when we've been lower, just lower, you don't see as much because you're not higher, you don't have the visibility. So just would love to be up higher again and see lots of cool stuff, and obviously share that with you guys as well. But that fly bridge is just so cool.
Yeah, the potential there is amazing.
Yeah, and I like that. We talk about safety all the time with you guys, what we're looking for in boats. It's got great safety, it's got great sides, very high sides, that if we had paddle boards and stuff, it would hide everything too. It would be below, and then when you get spray over, hopefully it wouldn't all get covered in spray. But just high sides for Charlie, great safety, great, the doors, I could just see where we're going to put extra locks for the doors, because we have a lock up high on Emma at the moment. That's our child lock. Talking because she's right behind me. Our child lock is up high, and it's basically sort of like a barn lock, and so she could unlock the door, but she can't open it. And so we've got the other one that just peace of mind when we're asleep and she's asleep. she doesn't sleepwalk, but that was just one of like my fears. Is we're asleep, and what happens if she needs us, or what happens if she sleepwalks, or she just goes outside or does something silly, like just want to know that she can't. So when I was looking at the doors, would be easy to add those locks. Great.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Building the bridge, not so easy. 100% we'd want to do that. But the boat, it's awesome, but like, yeah, a lot of work. And not only that, it would need to be repowered eventually. It's got dirty, great big V8 main engines, which, you know, they're just noisy as well. They sound cool, but once you've listened to them for probably a few days straight on a passage, they wouldn't sound too cool anymore. You'd be sick of the noise. So yeah, having to listen to those girls purring all the time would be a bit of a pain. So yeah, we'd have to downsize the engines and go to
Yeah. One thing that we really did like about the vessel is that we wouldn't have to change much right off the get-go. It's got a master bedroom that has a double, like a queen bed in it, and it's got 2 bunk beds right there on the opposite wall. So like we could live there, Charlie could be in the bunks. None of those say that we wouldn't have to change much. We would definitely need to add a bathroom, another bathroom somewhere. but it like allows us to do like what do we call it? A renovation. We could transform the vessel in stages.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be done right now, all at once, which is great.
So I mean, one of the first things it would need is a paint job. And it needs a paint job inside and out. All the bilges and everything were painted, and that's why they're in such pristine condition, but they're due to be painted again. So the thing with the Iron Maiden, the amount of work it needs, that we would want to do to it scares the crap out of me. It is immense.
Yeah.
So we would be transforming the whole boat, building all new accommodation downstairs. Even the existing accommodation that's in the back, all would be ripped out and redone. A whole new bridge up on top of the existing bridge. Then building all the mounts and the chocks and everything for the high-ab on the foredeck for the tenders. And
a lot of work.
It's a lot.
Yeah. But in saying that, we did have a look at bulkheads and stuff, and where the engine room sits, and where the end of the wheelhouse sits, and how we could potentially connect everything together from the inside, because that's a huge thing that I really want. I think that we really want, but just having a look at how feasible that is, and we think we have a way that it would be feasible.
Yes, we do.
Yeah, which is great, because that'd be so awesome to have everything connected. And it's got so much going for it. The tiller flat, the back area is awesome. It's a stand-in tiller flat.
AKA my new workshop.
So the tiller flat is Sam's new workshop.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That back bedroom we would turn into like a master cabin.
Yep. Yeah. So at the moment it's 2 rooms and a workshop. The workshop would be moved to the tiller flat, and then it would be turned into one big large room, potentially with an ensuite, which would be our room.
Yeah. And then the engine room has a beautiful door, adult height door, and you walk in and the ceilings are way above your head.
Oh yeah, it's marvelous. It's absolutely fantastic. There is plenty of room for me to fit all my projects, which we're going to do in there. So we will fill the engine room up eventually. There's going to be all sorts of bits and pieces going on in there. Initially it would just be, because the boat is commercial at the moment, it has been reliant on a genset running 24/7, and that is A, not in our budget to pay for that fuel, and B, we don't want the noise of having a genset going all the time. So
yeah,
you know, it's one of those things. The initial setup costs of going off grid, putting the solar, batteries, inverters and all that in, it does actually pay for nearly 2 years worth of fuel in a genset, but for us it's worth it. We don't want to have a motor pluttering along all the time. We'd rather get some cleaner, greener energy, and we like the quiet.
Yeah.
We like being out there in the quiet, and
harvesting the sun's energy.
Exactly. We just feel better about it, even though we would have to use it for a couple of years before it even becomes an economical option.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we'll be putting all of that kind of stuff down there, turning everything 24 volt. The freshwater pumps, all that kind of stuff, and then redundancies. Another thing, because we're buying a boat that we do want to go off grid in, you've got to have redundancies. And if we have the space like we do in this marvelous engine room, I don't just want a spare water pump in a box. I want to have it mounted on a wall with a valve and a switch ready to go. So anyone can go down there and flip a switch and get the other one going.
Yeah. And one thing that a lot of people talk about when they go like exploration style trawler motor boats is that like either an engine and a get home engine or 2 engines, and this one has 2 engines, which is awesome.
And it
sails.
has a mast. It has sails, so we won't be getting fully away from the sails, which is absolutely fantastic, because when the wind is right, sailing is marvelous. When the wind is wrong, sailing is not my favorite thing to do. But when the wind is right, I really enjoy it, and I love the cost savings. So when we're getting blowing north with the trade winds, absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
We'll roll out the sails and cruise along in comfort.
Yeah, and if you're doing like trawlers, the expedition thing, they always talk about a get home engine because that's what the boats are built for, like exploring remote places. So you always want to have redundancy, and this boat has not only 1 engine, 2 engines, and sails. So you have sort of three different types, and then the sails can also take the load off like the engines, right?
Exactly. And the type of gear, there's different types of gearboxes you can have, but the type that are in this boat are ones that can free spin. So all that needs to happen then is if we start going tremendously fast with our sails, we would need to get some water going down and through.
It's this one.
We'd need to get some water going down and through and lubricating the stern tube, just to make sure it doesn't get too hot and wear the bearings and stuff in the back there. But if it's just turning slowly, it'd be absolutely marvellous, and it won't affect the gearbox at all. So, and another thing Kate mentioned about get home engines, and I'm not the biggest fan of get home engines, and the reason being is that if you talk to most people that have them, they'll say, oh yeah, on a flat day we can do like 4 knots with it or something. And the thing is, generally speaking, when it's a glass out, it isn't always when things go wrong. It's when you're out there and it's a bit choppy and the wind's blowing and things are quite uncomfortable. That's generally when things go wrong. And if you've got a tiny little get home engine that doesn't get the boat really moving at all, then it's not quite as effective as what you would first think. And most of these get home engines, you can't push any kind of wind. Even if you get them behind an island to try and anchor it, you can't really steam up against anything at all. And the advantage with 2 main engines is there's just that little bit more horsepower, and they don't fly along on the 1 engine either, but at least they can get somewhere on it. We prefer to go that way.
Which is, it's a really nice comforting thing to know that you've got a assortment of different options. And I love the sail option. I know we're buying a motorboat, we're going away from sails, but flaming heck, when the wind's right, sailing's brilliant. And if we get to decide when we want to do it, fantastic. That is awesome. And if we have to get somewhere, we'll get somewhere. And then one of the other things that we did today was when we were up in the forward V-berth, you were in the floorboards, and Sam was underneath the hull, and you were looking at like space and availability for
bow thruster.
So
this one here was really just looking at the realities. The first one we looked at, we're like, geez, flaming heck, we love this boat. got heaps of great ideas. We went home, we brainstormed all the things we wanted to do to it, and then we went back today and we just wanted to have a look and go, like, can we actually do them? You know, is it actually a real thing? And, you know, with all the works that we want to do, it's not in our budget to pay someone to do it all. It's just, unfortunately, that's not where we're at in life. So the only way we'd be able to afford to do it is if we did most of the work ourselves.
Yeah.
We're just looking to see, can we do it? Where would it fit? How hard would it be? And then take it all from there.
Yeah. So yeah, this boat we really like, and we like that we're still like thinking on things and planning
Well, the big thing with this one is it comes down to price. The gentleman who's selling it, he's selling a working shark boat.
Yeah.
We don't want a working shark boat.
No.
And so there's things that has a lot of value in it to a commercial fisherman that have no value in it to us. A commercial fisherman doesn't really care how loud his engine is. And, you know, with us, we look at those big, dirty, great big V8s and, you know, they're hard mounted. Even soundproofing, it'd be very hard. They're 1987, they're old school. It'd be very hard to quieten them up. Technology's come a long way in the last, 30 years.
Yeah.
When it comes to engines as well. And so that's just something that potentially, if it stayed commercial fishing, they wouldn't have to do, but it's an extra cost they would be taking on if we purchase the boat, and it's a big cost, replacing 2 new engines. And so really we've just got to sharpen our pencil and see if it's worthwhile, and then even just chat to the owner and go, look, this isn't what you're asking, but this is what it's worth to us. Would you be interested? And if he's not, fair enough, because he's got a valuable item. It's a great boat and a great fishing boat, but it's just not what we want. We don't want a fishing boat, and you pay a premium because it's in survey. We don't care about the survey. We'd rather it not be in survey and not have to pay that premium. So yeah, we've just got to see. You know, I could bankrupt us real easy with this boat. We're just going to see how much we're going to do, how long is it going to take, and will we get through all the work?
Yeah.
Because yeah, it's a very, very, very big project. Just repowering, it's fairly large, but building a whole new bridge, building all new accommodation up forward, welding and modifying the superstructure so that you can have access there, welding off the deck, flattening off the deck so you can put skylights in instead of big hatches.
Yeah.
That's what we're going through. There's a lot of work involved in all that. Then, you know, putting a crane on, you know, building all the tender chocks. It doesn't even have sea doors in it. If you come into a marina, it wasn't built for that. So we've got to cut sea doors in. There's so many, even just the little things that we have to do to convert everything to 24 volt.
Yeah, that's right. It doesn't have sea doors. It's on the commercial wharf right now, so it depends on the tide, but we've just been hopping over from the commercial wharf, like down into the boat and passing Charlie. I didn't even think about that. It doesn't even have sea doors.
No, so there's no way to actually get onto a dock if we go into a marina. So we're going to cut them in and, you know, but do a good job of it. And, yeah, the whole boat needs repainting. Yeah, there's a lot. Tenders, doesn't have any tenders, and it doesn't have any real facility to get a decent sized tender on and off easily. So, you know, there's a lot that we would have to do that a commercial fisherman doesn't care about.
Yeah.
So we've just got to talk to the owner and say, look, what he's asking isn't where we're at, and, you know, if this is value for us. If he wants to sell it now, then this is it, and if he doesn't, we completely understand. But we would totally overcapitalise if we paid asking price for it.
Yeah.
For what we want.
And for me, one of the things that I would like done, like pretty much, not like immediately, but like immediately.
Yes, dear.
Would be these types of boats only have one toilet, one shower, and that toilet and shower on these like aft wheelhouse fishing boats are outside the wheelhouse, so it's on the out, like it's connected to the wheelhouse, but it's outside the door access, so like the guys in the forward V-berth can access it. When you're on a deck, you can access it, and you just use the bathroom that way. And one thing to me, with having Charlie and everything, I just would like a door cut to the inside of the boat and have a doorway so you can get to the toilet and shower from the inside. But that also means that the fridge needs to move somewhere. Where? I don't know yet. It'll come to me.
Yeah.
But that's sort of like an example of what we're thinking about and what we're measuring. And yeah, making it a family boat.
Yeah.
Let us know what you guys think of the Iron Maiden, of this red boat.
And let us know if I'm being a bit harsh. They're Cummins 555s is what they are. 1987 model Cummins 555s.
Do you have them? Have you had them? Do you like them? Do you hate them?
Yeah, I've worked on 855s before, but never a 555. So I've Googled them, and yeah, but for us, they are quite noisy, and for a family boat, that's not what we're into. We're into silent cruising, maybe electric engines. So,
yeah, Sam's brought up electric engines a few times now.
I have. The technology's getting there, I think, folks. And yeah, could be the way forward, I reckon.
Let us know what you think. Cummins, electric engines, what you think of the boat.
Yeah.
Yeah, vote.
Yeah, let us know.
Alright, but we're almost home. We're almost back to our accommodation now.
Yeah, it's been a long day. We'll have to, we've kind of blurted everything out to you guys, but we'll have to think ourselves and write some lists and just really go through it. It's a little bit further away from the finished product than what we'd like. It's an awesome boat and I genuinely love it, but it is nowhere near what we want the end result to be. It's not even close. It has the potential to fulfill everything.
Yeah.
Wow, it's going to be so much work and so much time and money.
But it'd be cool for Indo and like anchoring in those key areas.
Oh, dude, totally. I love the anchoring system. Legendary.
Yeah. One thing though, guys, I want to show you. It's 7:02 p.m. right now. Look how light it is. Like, welcome to Launceston and Tassie. Look how light it is. In Queensland right now at 7 p.m. you've got like the sun's down.
Yeah.
It's like totally down.
Day's over.
Day is over. And now I've been having a hard time going to sleep like on time because the light's still.
Yeah, we're staying up so late.
It's past Charlie's bedtime actually.
Yeah, exactly.
What did you think of the boat?
Good, and I need.
Oh, okay.
What's that?
I think she said good and they need to poop.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Okay.
I need to
10 minutes we'll be home, darling. Probably less. Not even.
Alright, guys.
Alright, we better go. We've got to get the young one to the toilet.
See you next week. Don't forget to write below if you like those engines.
Yeah, give us a bit of advice if you've had them in the past and how fuel efficient they are. And yeah, if you've had them, what you reckon. And yeah, love the boat. Yeah,
See you, team.
See you guys.
Thank you guys so much for coming with us to tour and view the Iron Maiden. I think you guys know how much we really like her, and we want to know, what do you think? So don't forget to comment below. Thank you again so much for watching. A massive and huge shout out to our amazing Patreons. Thank you guys so much for your support. If you are interested in joining the J Crew and supporting us making videos and content, head on over to Patreon or join the YouTube members. The links are in the description box below, and membership starts at only $2 a month. Thank you guys so much again for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment, and we will see you all same time next week. We might even be putting in an offer on a boat, so stay tuned.